8 days in with the Nexus 5, just over that weak point, and a couple of things I'm going to point out in this update video. The email client, which I'm finding much better in KitKat, and then some of the camera improvements that come along with Android 4.4.2. I'm Aaron Baker from PhoneDog.com. Join me, and we'll talk about those things in the Day 8 update. 8 days in with the LG Nexus 5 or Google Nexus 5, and there are a couple of things I want to point out in this quick update video. First of all, I finally got Android 4.4.2, the latest version of KitKat running on Google's flagship devices. You can see right here, Android version 4.4.2. Boom, it's been downloaded, and actually as of today I was able to download it over LTE as opposed to waiting for Wi-Fi. Can't remember if I said this in the previous video, but I had a weird little situation where it was waiting to download, and even after I had it on Wi-Fi for 10-15 minutes, it was still saying waiting to download. So I finally downloaded once we kicked over into the ability to use it for network connectivity. And you can see here the email client as well. This is big for me because I do use Gmail, and obviously PhoneDog's email systems run through Gmail as a back end as well. So I use Gmail for the most part, but I'm looking at transitioning over to Outlook for some of my personal stuff. And so I had this test account set up because one of the biggest consternation, one of the biggest issues I've heard with vanilla Android or anything close to vanilla Android is the fact that the email client outside of Gmail is just awful. I've heard this from more than one person. Quite a few people have been like, it's terrible. Well, as you can see here in Android 4.4, it's been updated to reflect updated to reflect Gmail and the way that it looks with the numbers, the letters here rather, and you can see the email. So very similar all around. And you can see here that overall it looks very similar to what you would see from the Gmail client. I mean, you've got your ability to get back, you've got your quick access stuff up here to trash the email, to put it in a folder. Very similar, as you can see, to Gmail. The overall look and feel, when I click on this, for example, very similar experience. They've kind of synchronized that experience up with the understanding that while everybody does use Gmail, for the most part, there are people that need it for work and people that need it for their non-Gmail accounts like Outlook or Live or Hotmail. So really appreciating the update here that comes with that. Also, I want to talk about some of the camera improvements here. Android 4.4.2 does bring some subtle improvements to the camera, and a bunch of those are kind of quick updates, if you will, that are kind of hard to see. So I'm going to bring over a phone here just to take a quick sample shot. So obviously I have the camera right here. You'll notice that images focus, and then the image actually snaps itself much faster than in previous versions of Android 4.4. So that was one of the improvements. Also, I see a couple of other subtle just performance improvements. Everything seems to be much faster in the overall interface and usability of the camera. So I can come in here, for example, and turn on HDR if I want to, and I'll go to take the picture. And you can see, for example, the little icon there showing that it's taking the HDR image. But overall, everything seems much faster. I'm not seeing that issue where it's taking a while to focus. I mean, it focuses in, as you can see right here, pretty quickly. I can tap on the screen, snap the shot, snap, snap, and it's much faster all around than what we've seen from previous builds of KitKat. So pleased to have that. Otherwise, really enjoying the device all around. It's a different experience. It's vanilla Android. I've in the past been a fan and still continue to be a fan of things like TouchWiz, Sense, LG's user interface, and more because I think the value adds they bring are great. But I will say this is by far my favorite version of vanilla Android I've worked with. It's clean, it runs fast, and yes, while you do miss out on some of those value adds, and I'll talk about that in a future video because, well, let's be honest, I'm going to talk about that in a future video. Overall, I like the polished nature of Android 4.4. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for more. I'm on Twitter at PhoneDog_Aaron. The challenge continues, my friends, and I want to hear from you as to what you want to see covered in the next update video of the Nexus 5 30-day challenge. Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron. Facebook, Facebook.com/Hi Aaron Baker. Thanks for watching. More to come on the Nexus 5, and in the meantime, get your questions in through Twitter or through Facebook. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.